Hi, welcome to Gridiron Gurus. I'm Travis Lazarczyk for the Kennebec Journal and Morning Sentinel alongside Drew Bonifant. Drew, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
It's regional finals week, and this week we're joined by MCI head coach Tom Bertrand and MCI senior quarterback, punt returner, defensive back Josh Buker. Josh, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Coach Seuss, thanks for being here as well.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Start off, this is your third consecutive trip to the regional final. Is there anything you learned from the last two that you kind of take to get prepared for this?
Well, definitely we know that week in and week out we're going to face good competition, and when you get into the postseason, anytime you're facing teams in the way that Dexter and Bucksport and the teams that made the playoffs are, that you're going to find their best and be up against their best. So we don't take anything for granted. We prepare each week like we're playing for that gold ball game, and we don't take it for granted that we're going to get there.
Right.
Is there an experience benefit to? I mean, the players that haven't gone through this before. Just it's a little easier to go through the stages to get ready for a game like this, and how big is it to be able to have it at home and have that element?
The first part of that, it's absolutely a benefit for us to have been here before because they know what to expect, and we're hungry for that gold ball, so they know what's on the line, and having been in these games is huge. So that's absolutely a factor for us.
Josh, is there anything you take as a player in these situations, knowing you've been here before and you can use it as institutional memory of sorts?
It's just, I'd say getting there. You want to get there again. That's all you play for. I mean, this whole season, that's all you want to win is the gold balls. I mean, it's something you look forward to, and it also shows that you can't just be nervous. I mean, you have to. It's another game, and it's the only way you're going to get to the gold ball game. So I mean.
Right. What's it like for you guys? I imagine when you were a kid watching MCI football, they were, they had some pretty lean seasons, and then for it to, get to the point it is now. What's it like to be one of the guys who's kind of built this up into? So all right, we're a contender year in year out.
I mean, you watch them and you watch them struggle, and I mean, you still support them. I mean, they're trying their best, and then I get up here, and we get up here the last 4 years. I mean, we're doing the same thing. We're lifting, we're putting all the work in. I mean, I think it's just a mindset that we want to get back every year, and I mean, it's the will to win.
Given your role in the team, you're quarterback and punt returner, you've been had a big impact in special teams this year. Is there a pressure in that teams are really going into the game preparing for you? I mean, is it being the quarterback and being somebody the team really focuses when you have the ball in your hands? Does that add an element to it where it's like, okay, team's going to be keying on me. I really have to be able to respond to this.
It adds an element of me, like I know they're going to, so I'm getting ready for it, I'm preparing for it. But it also adds the element of if they want to focus on me, we have plenty of other people that can get the job done. So if they want to focus on me and give the other players chances, that's fine by me.
It's kind of an interesting league this year where Dexter is in the position where you guys were a couple of years ago, kind of. Building it back up after some time away. It's got to feel different to see some new blood kind of at the top of the league instead of just Madnock, Bucksport, the same teams year in year out.
Yeah, I think it's that hunger factor, and they've been right there on the cusp for a few years now, and they had the kids and the coaching staff and the will and the backing from their community to get over the hump a little bit, and once you have that confidence, it's easy to get rolling, and,
sure.
And they certainly have the athletes and the ability to make some plays. So, hopefully they are able to maintain that. But we're just hopeful that Friday we're gonna be all right and execute the things that we do and get through that one.
You beat them 36-2 a few weeks ago. What are some of the things you're looking at this time around?
We know, like Josh said, that a lot of focus on Josh and some of the other key players on our team, and we've been working a lot this week on just what we do offensively and getting good at it and executing and not making the mistakes, and then defensively making sure that we contain their key players. They have 4 or 5 really good football players that they can get the ball in their hands. We want to be prepared for that, and it's playoff football, so we don't expect to for it to be to shut them down completely. We know that they're going to make plays and respond to those situations.
Coming off, it's 36-2 in that game, and the defense has to feel really good about how they play that game. Do you have to almost kind of rein them back from thinking this was 36-2. We really just dominated against this team last time we played them. I mean, does that have a little wrinkle to it as well?
Well, Josh can attest to this a little bit. We take every week that our opponent is able to beat us. We never take an opponent for granted. We don't underprepare for anyone, and we never approach it with an air of arrogance. And we respect everybody in our league, and definitely we know that beating a team twice in the same season is tough, and beating them in the postseason is going to be really tough. So I don't think that our kids are sitting back on the heels and ready to just coast through this one at all.
Josh, what's the atmosphere in school like around football now? Is there kind of an excitement around your fellow students for these big games you guys are playing?
I mean, the whole school is around us, the whole community really. So, I mean, going through the week, you always hear everybody, good luck at the game Friday, good luck at the game Friday. Sure. I'll be there. And it's a sense of encouragement. And, I mean, I'm glad to have the community behind us because it's a big deal to us on the field.
Does it pick up now because, I mean, like, field hockey team earlier in the year was going on its run to the championship game, but now those sports start to finish up, and now football's kind of the only one left. Is it? I mean, does the focus more? There's less other sports to focus on.
I feel like they've been there, and they still share these encouraging words, but it's hard to be at our games 24/7 when there's other games going on. So I feel like the whole community is it's MCI football's time. No teams are playing, so I mean they're there and they're ready to support.
Okay, Drew. Looking at the Class D South regional final, we have an undefeated Winthrop Monmouth team taking on a Lisbon team.
Yeah, and it's the playoffs at this point they're rematches. And Winthrop Monmouth played Lisbon earlier in the year, beat them 31-12. But it was in the first game of the season, and so it's almost like it feels. I mean, I was talking to the coach Dave St. Hilaire about this and asking him, does it almost feel like you played them last year? It was so long ago. I mean, when you played them, it was 75 degrees during the day and everything, and everybody's out in short sleeves and sweating, and now it's freezing cold during these night games, and so that's an interesting element to it because you wonder how much of these teams changed, and is it almost going to be like they're playing each other for the first time just when you take into account. Players who were out, who were in back then, and players who were not in then, who were in now, and I mean, so even though it's the second time that they're going at it, it feels like it's got a new game feel to it. It's going to be interesting.
Coach, when you guys play a team in the playoffs, does it matter if you played them early in the season or late? Like Dexter, you played about a month ago.
Yeah. No, it really doesn't make a big difference. You certainly don't want to play them back to back, but the way our season was set up, we played some of the playoff teams towards the end of the season. Orono, Dexter, played Bucksport early, but definitely there's a little bit of an advantage if you've seen them recently. It's a little bit fresh, but it doesn't make a huge difference in terms of preparation.
No, you're worried about your own playoffs, obviously, but have you had a chance to look at either Lisbon or Winthrop Monmouth?
We got down to see Lisbon, the Lisbon Oak Hill game last week. It was on Saturday. Of course, we can't get down to see Winthrop play. It's Friday night, and that's when we play. So Lisbon looked really good, and Oak Hill was tough as they always are, but certainly Lisbon had some size and some speed and just a physical style of football that they can see why they're playing for the Western Maine or Southern Maine Championship.
Right. I call it Western Maine a lot too.
What strikes you more about that Lisbon team? Is it the ground game that they have and the big running backs that they have, or is it their ability to give it to Tyler Halls, who he played more receiver and running back in that last game than he's done throughout the season, but he's also a really good quarterback for them.
Well, again, anytime we focus a lot on our league. We haven't scouted the South much because we don't take for granted that we're going to get there. So our scouting's been primarily in our league. So that was the first time we'd seen them this year, and he certainly is a heck of a football player. But I just look around, I see a great big fullback and some great big linemen, and they're well coached, they're disciplined, and they just fly into the football. And you can just tell that it's a style of football that is year in and year out. And I honestly, people were talking about the West, the South, and who do you think it's going to be? Who do you think it's going to be? And Lisbon's in that. They're in that talk. I mean, because for the same reason you talk about Dexter, they've been right there in the past few years, and Oak Hill's just been that much better. And there's a point where you feel like it's our time, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens at Lisbon Winthrop game.
We've talked about it, I think, on this podcast to the point. But that player you're mentioning for Lisbon, that big fullback, is Noah Francis. Comes in at 280 pounds, but is an athletic 280 pounds. He can run, he can jump, he can. He's not just a bulldozer for them, but they've just been running over. They're just running over teams at this point. beat Oak Hill 41-9 in the last game, but Winthrop Monmouth beat them 31-12. Pretty much handled them last time they played. Like I was saying earlier, it was early in the season, so Winthrop Monmouth has the answer to in them. It's just a question if it's going to come out this time.
Yeah, and like you said, that's so long ago. It's almost like does it count anymore?
Yeah, Coach, how would you approach that if you were playing a team that was that long ago? I mean, do you take it as there's just been too much time passed, or do you treat it like it's?
Oh no, like we just had that situation with Bucksport, and I think Josh again can tell you that they've improved. We knew that Bucksport had improved, so I would imagine that the Winthrop coaches are saying the same thing.
Sure.
Preparing their kids for a Lisbon team that's hungry, but from what I've heard about Winthrop, they're really tough, and you got a couple of good teams there in the South that are going to go at it for a chance. And hey, it's been the Oak Hill show for the last few years down there.
Right.
And I know that they're itching to get to that gold ball game, just as much as we're itching to get back there and try to get a chance at it. Those two teams are hoping to get a chance at it as well.
Yeah. Let's look at the Big Ten Conference Championship game as we have Winslow going up to Mount Desert Island. Winslow beat Mount Desert Island 40-20 in the regular season. They both finished with 7-1 records, but with the three-way tie for first place with those two schools in Madison and the Crabtree points kind of breaking the way they did, MDI ends up with the number 1 seed and gets to host this game. Two of the better running teams in the league, if not the state. You'll see MDI line up in the full house T backfield quite often and just grind it at you and just talk to Mike Savitsky, the Winslow head coach today, and if he said they're dangerous if they can grind out these 6-7 minute drives, your offense can't get on the field and they can beat you.
Yeah, it's I mean, especially if you've got the size to your advantage, you can just wear on the team physically, not just being out there on the field for that long, but also having to go through the colliding and the having to handle those kind of players. So,
now for MDI, big fullback Croy Albee is hurt, so he hasn't played for a while. But they did move Graham Good from tight end to fullback, and he's been getting a lot of those tough between the tackles yards. Coach, you coached with Coach Savitsky for 1 year on I think 2001 state championship team. What did you learn from Mike in that season?
I learned a lot down there, not just from him, but Coach Poulin and the kids down there and the other coaches I coached with. It was a very special year. We won a state championship down there, and I learned a lot from Coach Savitsky. But what I learned about Winslow football is they win, and I got a good luck message from Mr. Savitsky last week on a Facebook message, and I said good luck to you guys too. And I know Madison is tough, but the postseason is Winslow time, and there's something to be said for a program that they've got down there in Winslow. And what Coach Savitsky has been able to accomplish over the years. So,
Josh, as a player, do you follow some of the other classes, like what's going on in A, B, and C?
I see the scores. I look at like what's been going on, but I'm mainly just focused on ours. I mean,
sure.
I look at our games and I look what's going on with Orono, Boxport, whether any team it is. I just want to know what's going on with ours and who we're playing and what we got to do to win.
Is that more an interest of just? I mean, that's just the football fan, and you want to know how the other football teams around here are doing, or do you have friends and know people who are on those teams?
I know a few people from like Winslow, like Lawrence. I know a couple of them, but I mean, we don't get to see the games, of course, which is what I would like to do. But I mean, the scores at the end, you like to see what happened in the game, who scored, and what was the result. I mean, it's just every football fan likes to see the results from each game.
You running home on Friday night after the game to watch the highlight shows?
I do, actually. Yeah. That's what I do. I turn the TV on, I see what time it's on, whether I get time to shower or whatnot, but I like to watch the highlights.
Great. Okay. Josh, Coach Bertrand, thanks for coming in. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right.
We will see you guys next week on Gridiron Gurus when we're talking about state championship games.